I hope everyone's enjoying summer. Soberoni of G&A Reviews here with a servant spotlight for your favorite tan surfer, Summer Mordred. We'll be examining her stats and skills, as well as going over pointers on how to utilize her effectively, and an overall grade comparing her to how she stacks up to the other 4-star servants. I also have a spotlight out for Anne and Mary Archer up on the channel right now, so do check that out right after this, but for now, on to Mordred's stats. Mordred has a max HP of 11,400, that's good for a 4-star rider, but just slightly above average when compared to all other 4-star servants. Her max attack of 9,212 is also above average for a 4-star rider servant, but just about average among 4 stars in general. Taking a look at her skills, her first skill is Cerulean Ride rank A, which increases her arts card effectiveness for 3 turns between 20 and 30% depending on level. Her second skill is Rodeo Flip rank A+, which applies evade to herself for 1 turn and increases her crit star drop rate for 1 turn between 30 to 50% depending on level. Finally, her last skill is Endless Summer rank B, which grants her guts 1 time for 3 turns, reviving her with 1000 HP, and also increases her NP gauge between 20 and 30% depending on level. As for her passives, she has Magic Resistance rank B, which increases debuff resist by 17.5%, and Surfing rank A, which increases her arts card effectiveness and critical star drop rate both by 5%. As for her deck and Noble Phantasm, Mordred has a Quick Arts deck with Quick Arts Buster and an Arts Noble Phantasm. Her Noble Phantasm is Pre-Twin Tube Riding, which deals heavy damage to all enemies with between a 450 and 750% damage modifier depending on level, and it also has a chance to decrease enemy Noble Phantasm charge between 50 to 90% depending on overcharge. Taking a closer look at her cards, we see that her quick card hits 3 times, her arts hits twice, her buster hits once, and her extra attack hits 4 times. She has an NP gain rate of 0.71% and a star rate of 9.2%. Overall, she has some good NP gain thanks to the double arts cards in her deck and a good Noble Phantasm gain rate. She has decent star generating as well due to the double quick card, but it's not amazing. Mordred may seem average or underwhelming at first, but she has a secret weapon. Before we touch on that though, let's talk skills. Her first skill is also her most important. Cerulean Ride gives Mordred a 3-turn decent boost to arts. This synergizes with her Surfer passive very well and is on a short cooldown, so you can have it active very often. Mordred is not a heavy hitter, so without this buff, her damage is laughably bad. But even more important than the damage is that this buff gives additional boost to her Noble Phantasm gain from her arts card, something very important for Mordred. Her other 2 skills focus on survival. Rodeo Flip is basically the same as Mind's Eye, giving you a 1-turn evade, but also boosting your star gen considerably. However, it does have a long cooldown of 7 turns at max rank. Her final skill, Endless Summer, is a mediocre guts paired with a decent Noble Phantasm charge, making it an overall pretty versatile skill. As a Noble Phantasm spammer, the NP charge is invaluable to Mordred, and the guts gives her a fair bit more survivability, making her pretty tanky overall. But again, the cooldown is long at 7 turns when maxed. You'll want to prioritize Cerulean Ride over the other skills because that's your main means of damage and consistent NP gain, followed by Endless Summer, mostly for the NP charge, and then finally Rodeo Flip for the cooldown reduction. Overall, her skills are defensive and they're somewhat bland, but where Mordred really shines is her Noble Phantasm. It's an AoE Arts Noble Phantasm that has a small chance of decreasing the Noble Phantasm charge of all enemies. Where it really gets absurd is when combined with her arts buff, this Noble Phantasm alone, by itself, can refund upwards of 40% NP charge. A Noble Phantasm Arts or Noble Phantasm Quick Arts chain from Mordred can actually refill her entire NP gauge back to 100% easily with minimal buffs required. In the right team comp, namely in an arts team with Tamamo, Mordred Rider can literally Noble Phantasm every single turn, and once she starts Noble Phantasming, she won't stop. If you haven't been already, then go ahead and count how many times Mordred Noble Phantasms in this video. Most of them are in back-to-back turns. She's bar none the best NP spammer in the game, putting even Sanzo and Da Vinci to shame. Of course, This makes Mordred a fantastic wave clearer right behind Nitocris. But she has more utility than just being a good farmer. For one thing, her defensive skill set makes her ideal for Art's stall teams, and even though the chance of lowering the enemy Noble Phantasm charge is low, because she can spam her Noble Phantasm every turn, it becomes very effective for stalling out an enemy's Noble Phantasm. Quantity over quality in this case. The downside to Mordred Rider are that in exchange for a spammable Noble Phantasm, it is very, very weak. So don't go around expecting to kill bosses with it. It's really just an effective tool for farming or stalling. And Mordred is also heavily dependent on the proper team comp. Outside of an Art stall team, her effectiveness tanks. That means you're only going to want to pair Mordred with other Art stall servants or Noble Phantasm batteries. Waver, Hans, or Tamamo are almost a requirement for Mordred, but Sanzo and Nero Bride can work as NP batteries as well. For stalling, you're going to want Media Lily, Irisveal, Mosh, Jean, George, or Leon. Emiya Assassin and Edison can work fairly well as well, because both of them can provide crit stars, which Mordred appreciates greatly as a rider because Art's crits are a thing, and both of them can also stall well. Mordred's Bondcraft Essence is Pure Twin. It boosts the NP damage of all allies by 20%. On anyone else, that would be great, but not so much on Mordred. You'll want craft essences that improve your NP gain as much as possible. Formal Craft, Divine Banquet, Little Halloween Devil, and Faithful Companions are by far the best craft essences Mordred can use at the moment. You can also trade off some Noble Phantasm gain for more star generating for a better chance at those Arts crits, in which case I would advise using Fox Knight's Dream, Beast Under the Moon, or Kitchen Patissiere. Overall, Rider Mordred's maximum potential really depends on your team. She has very little versatility, really only working well in Art stall teams. Her damage is abysmal, and outside of her Noble Phantasm, she doesn't have much to offer. However, when paired with a decent Art support, she really doesn't need very much setup to go off. She is the best NP spammer in the game, and she's invaluable for farming. She also has a strong defensive skill set, making her deceptively tanky, and NP charge decrease on a spammable Noble Phantasm is pretty game breaking. So she gets an A from me. Like I said, even in the worst case, if you have no Art supports at all, she still pulls her weight as one of the best farming servants in the game, second only to Nitocris, and unlike Nitocris, she also has usability within Arts teams and can be OP with minimal setup. And those are my thoughts on Rider Mordred. This is one of the reviews I have been the most conflicted about in regards to score, so I am curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, and please do check out the Archer Anne and Mary Spotlight, linked both on screen right now and in the description. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you really enjoyed the video. Join the party over our Discord, chill us on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. And I will see you all in the next Servant Spotlight. Soberoni out. Later.